The reason why Cindy's husband could come in and, just maneuver was because Pedro allowed him to, which essentially means that Pedro is still in charge of the girls. You looking at yourself, baby? The tension of having to monitor my every move was too much. Around this time, I pretty much stopped going out at all. Unless I was on a stage, I was at home. One of the few close friends I had was Teddy Pendergrass. He was still singing with Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, and Pedro knew them from their days playing clubs in Puerto Rico. The Blue Notes had been together since 1956, but their big hits began after Teddy became their lead singer in 1970. By 1976 or so, the Blue Notes had a solid string of hits, and Teddy began to consider going solo. He and Pedro were running buddies from way back, so he often came to our house and we talked. That day, Teddy said, "I really need to talk to you. I'm thinking about getting out of the group and going on my own. But I like the guys and they gave me my start. Still, I feel like I can do other things too. I just don't know what to do." So this is where the conversation goes back to Mary Wilson. You're so much bigger than the Supreme. That day, Teddy said, "I really need to talk to you. I'm thinking about getting out of the group and going on my own. But I like the guys, and they gave me my start. Still, I feel like I can do other things too. I just don't know what to do." Teddy, if you truly feel that you have done all you can with the group and that you can do more on your own, you should go, I said. But if you do leave, be honest and forthright about it. I must have been thinking about Diane and the Supremes. Do it right away so there won't be any bad feelings. Do you think I could really make it alone? He asked. I'm sure you can, Teddy. But remember, you've got to do it right away. Thanks, Mary. There weren't many people I could talk to who would understand this. Of course, Teddy went solo and became a sex symbol known to his female fans as Teddy Bear. In 1982, he was paralyzed from the neck down in a freak car accident. Pause. Y'all remember when we read the Kern Steffens book, and Kern Steffens was on her way out of being the number one hussy in the hip-hop R&B world, because she was hunching both R&B singers and rappers and R&B singers, whatever, ladies, men's, dogs, cats. I don't know if that lady is a bestialitist. I don't know, I'm just joking. But do y'all remember when Kern Steffens was like, I got a call from Teddy. He in a wheelchair. I don't know what he wants. And I said, well, hell, Kern, maybe he wants sucking proof like everybody else do. Of course, Teddy went solo and became a sex symbol known to his female fans as Teddy Bear. In 1982, he was paralyzed from the neck down in a freak car accident. We'd kept in touch, and I visited him at his home. One day he said to me, you know, Mary, of all the people I've known, you're one of the few who come to see me. It really means a lot to me. She probably talking about after the accident. I mean, it ain't like he ain't called the Kern Steffens. to keep him company. 9 months after Sherry and Cindy joined the group, they were still technically without contracts. These delays caused a lot of friction because Cindy and Sherry were essentially working for Supremes Inc. In other words, me. Despite my efforts to reignite the group spirit, I was the boss, and that made it hard. I didn't like the fact that our husbands were suddenly so active in the business either. Charles and Cindy's baby David traveled with us, so it made sense to find something for Charles to do for the group. Fuck Pedro. Man, it's like the Real House husbands of the Supremes. Pedro had already pressured me into naming him road manager. He created a similar position for Charles. Even though I had reluctantly let Pedro work with us, I still felt that I could keep him out of my professional life. Before long, though, both were asking our manager about our business. The meddling husband is an occupational hazard for any female entertainer. I admit that while Pedro did push his way in, I wanted him there because he was strong and I needed him. Cindy probably felt the same way about her man. Shutting out Charles would only have caused hard feelings, and besides, he and Pedro got along well and kept each other company on the road. So that's glaring. The reason why Cindy's husband could come in and, just maneuver was because Pedro allowed him to, which essentially means that Pedro is still in charge of the girls. I loved Cindy and loved having her in the group, but her personal problems were affecting her performance. At times, Cindy appeared quite happy to be back. Then there were moments when she seemed ambivalent. I want you to take some time and get yourself together mentally and physically, I told her. Cindy cried a little bit and my heart went out to her. Like me, she had marriage problems. Neither of us could accept not being able to give everything to both our careers and our marriages. But when your husband works with you, that's a concern. You got to look at the man every day? Fuck no. I need to get away from this nigga. I was beginning to see, though, that the only way many men can deal with successful women is to stifle their ambition and undermine their confidence. That's what Pedro was doing to me. And from what I saw, I believe that's what Charles was doing to Cindy. When I suggested to Cindy that she indulge herself and make herself as beautiful as possible, she gave me a sad, blank stare. There was nothing else I could do. The rest was up to her. Diane was appearing in Los Angeles, and I really wanted to go see her. Even though we didn't talk very much anymore, I still enjoyed her concerts. When I asked Mike Roshkind for tickets, he said there were none. Anyway, she ended up getting some from Ewart Abner. So here we are, the end of the show, right? She trying to get to the back, and she having difficulties getting to the back. The fans are like, well, wait, she's a Supreme. Let her through. Berry Gordy and Stevie Wonder walked right past her and went straight to the back, to where Diane was. Finally, child, she got back there, but she was in her feelings. Wait a minute. The girl, you started in the Supremes. I am a Supreme. Why can't I have access to you? When I finally got back to her dressing room, Diane seemed happy to see me, but surprised. Hello, Mary. How are you? We embraced, talked about our families, and that was it. Barry said, hi, Mary. You sure look good. And then he and Diane turned away. After having lied about the tickets, Mike was obviously embarrassed to see me there. I held my head high, but inside I felt like nothing. I wished Pedro were there with me so he can act a nigga mess and embarrass you. I felt so alone. It goes to show you're only as hot as your latest project. Or maybe you should just leave them niggas alone. It's like you running to get embarrassed. Oh, let me see Diana. You know what? Fuck you, Diana. If there was a concern for me to get in the back, I'd be like, don't worry about it. I think I would have taken the hint when Mike Roshkind was like, no, there's no tickets. I would have taken a hit. Oh, maybe the bitch don't want me there. Okay? Because why would he make that decision on his own? That had to be something that was discussed. Hey, look, you know Murray like to come to the show, so don't even give Murray a ticket. Like, that didn't enter her mind to say, oh, maybe these niggas don't want me here. We began an eventful run at Magic Mountain, one of my favorite places to play because it always attracted lots of fans. Flo arrived from Detroit. We'd talked on the phone several times over the past months, and somewhere in the back of my mind, I entertained the idea that she might rejoin us.